In today's video, I'm going to talk about what are the communication habits that turn managers into leaders, and what is something that I've been practicing over the years of my experience, and something literally that can produce any results and show you as a real role model and the proper leader who leads successful teams. So first of all, I want to start with a very important statement, and something that I experienced in my career is that there are managers out there, those who can speak all day but say nothing. And there are managers, those who speak once and everyone follows. Well, why is like that? Have you ever wondered why? What distinguishes those very good managers from the rest, and why people follow some leaders and while the others are not being followed? And the secret lies in those communication habits that I want to share with you, and something that I personally practice and love a lot to actually do with my team, with my clients, and anyone I come across in a leadership position, right? So let's jump into it. First thing first is that you need to, first of all, listen to understand, not to respond. And I know it sounds cliche, and I know that a lot of people out there are speaking about it, but as a matter of fact, it's really important. And especially from the practical point of view, I know that a lot of people talk about it, a lot of people actually speak about how important this statement is, but nobody speaks a lot about it, how to basically practically implement and how to work on that, because it's not an easy task, because it's in our human nature is that need that we want to jump into conclusion. We want to answer something as soon as possible and to show ourselves in the best possible way by answering smartly and in a very clever way, which basically shows good impression of us, right? But the point is, like, it's not that we need to jump straight into statement or conclusion or sharing something right after somebody finishes the sentences just to show off ourselves, but really to answer intelligently, properly, objectively, in the right way, depending on what person shared with us. And as a matter of fact, many of us actually listen to people just for sake of listening, without properly listening to really understand what this person wants to share with us. And over the years of my experience, I had a lot of clients coming to me and saying, and also people I work with, who come to me and say, "Hey Angie, but you know, my team somehow actually doesn't respect me, and they don't really actually want to communicate with me properly, and you know, whatever actually I listen to them, they say they are not happy with my answers, or they actually they tell me that I don't understand them." And this all comes down to one important thing, that this manager doesn't listen properly. Because if you listen properly to people and you really try to understand why they're sharing the things in a certain way, why they share what they share, then you're going to learn more about people, and then you're going to understand their point of view, their perspective, and you will be able to help them and to give the most appropriate answer. So therefore, it's very important that you try to train yourself to really listen, to understand. And I really committed myself, my time, my energy into improving this over the years of my experience. I really worked on that, because in the beginning of my career, I really was failing at this, and I'm not afraid to admit it. And I think that I'm still mastering it in a proper way. And I know that a lot of my clients and my employees coming to you and they're saying, you know, Angie, you really listen to me and I appreciate it. So then I can see that I really improved from the beginning of my career, but I still think there is always a room for improvement to polish the skills to the fullest. So this is the first important communication habit that you should instill in your daily life and try to stick to it. Second thing, Extremely important that you need to learn how to validate emotions without agreeing, because there are certain situations that you don't need to necessarily agree with your employee fully, but you need to show that you understand them and that you show that you are emotional intelligent in a sense that you really empathize with them, that you show this cognitive empathy. In some instances you cannot really show emotional empathy because you probably haven't experienced certain situations like your employee, but anyhow you need to show empathy and you need to understand the people, to validate their emotion, to understand what is their emotional state, and to really show them that you understand them. However, that doesn't mean that you need to agree with their decisions afterwards as a product of their emotional state. What do I mean by that? You can say to people, okay, I really can understand what you say about your current situation and your emotions, etc., right? But you don't need to continue your sentences, okay, and that's a legitimate reason, that you can do the X, Y, and Z, right? So if you're, for example, if your employee comes to you and say, hey, I have a personal problems back home and I really struggle with it, I'm very frustrated, and I stepped at Peter, at our colleague, because he triggered me at certain point, but it wasn't Peter's fault, right? So you as a manager, you cannot say, hey, I understand how you feel. I know how many problems you had back home. And yeah, it's okay that you snapped at Peter because, you were just frustrated, right? So do you see now the difference in this tiny line? It's very important that you actually understand and say, okay, I understand your situation back home. Everybody has a personal problems at some point. I really understand how it must be because, it's not easy to handle this and this. However, I want you to understand that snapping at your colleague, especially Peter, who is really a person who helps around, who is a good team player, who never actually done anything wrong to anyone, it's really inappropriate, and I really want you to go and to apologize to Peter, right? So this is where you are validating emotions, but you are not agreeing and you're not approving certain behavior after those emotional states or explosions, right? And number 3 is that you need to speak last. So what that means? That means that person who speaks last has the most power and literally is in control of the situation. And you as a leader, you really need to have a certain power over your team, not in a manipulative way, in a autocratic way, but in a way that you are the one who is leading, right? So you need to let your team speak first and then you speak last. Why? It's not also about the control, but it's more, or power, it's more about to really get the proper feedback from your team and to really see what struggles they have, what they are facing on daily basis, and then you just need to basically help them, listen to them. You remember the first one, listen to understand, not to respond. And then of course after that you can provide your point of view, you can give your advice, you can give your feedback, or whatever actually you need to share or react to, or also advise them on certain situations, right? So this is really, really important, that you need to ensure that you let your team speak first and then you are speaking last, okay? So try these 3 habits to instill into your daily leadership journey, and you will see the huge improvement. You will see how your team respect you more, how they're coming to you to talk to you more, because when they notice those kind of things, then you are really showing that you are proper and real role model that people want to follow and work with. All right, if you like this video, please hit that like button. Of course, subscribe to this channel, and until next time, stay ambitious.